DHK, the World News Tonight with Matt Waldron.
Good evening, I'm Matt Waldron. Here are the headlines. Koreas hold talks on flood control. US Senate panel passes health bill. UN in new aid appeal for Philippines. And Russia says Iran sanctions won't work. Officials from North and South Korea have met for talks on how to prevent floods along a river running through their heavily armed border. A South Korean official said the two sides gathered in the North Korean border town of Kaesong. The meeting comes a month after North Korea released a massive amount of water from a dam into the Imjin River without advance notice, triggering floods that killed 6 South Koreans. North Korea has said it had to release water because the level at the dam was too high. The Senate Finance Committee in Washington has passed its version of President Obama's healthcare bill, the centerpiece of his entire domestic program. The $800 billion bill would extend health coverage to millions of uninsured Americans. President Obama hailed the Senate committee's vote as a critical milestone. The Democratic-controlled Senate Finance Committee approved the measure on a 14-9 vote, with Senator Olympia Snowe becoming the first Republican in Congress to back a health care reform bill. Senator Snowe said she backed the plan with reservations and she could not guarantee her continued support as it advances through Congress. "My vote today is my vote today. It doesn't forecast what my vote will be tomorrow," Ms. Snowe said. The proposal to reduce costs, regulate the insurance market, and expand coverage was the last of 5 pending health bills to clear a committee in Congress. It will be merged with the Senate Health Panel's version and moved to the full Senate for debate in the next few weeks. Pretty much everything has been said, and now it's time to get the job done, Democratic Chairman Max Baucus said in opening the committee meeting. Republicans have condemned the plan as a costly and heavy-handed government intrusion into the private healthcare sector. A United Nations official says the UN will appeal for tens of millions of dollars in fresh aid for the Philippines, in addition to $44 million already pledged as the country grapples with massive destruction from back-to-back storms. A typhoon on the heels of last month's tropical storm triggered landslides and widespread flooding in the northern Philippines, killing at least 669 people since September 26th. About 6 million people have been affected, and the cost of damage is estimated at $336 million, officials said. The UN flash appeal for $74 million in aid for the Philippines has so far generated $90 million, and another $25 million has been committed separately, said John Holmes, the UN Undersecretary for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief. The UN is ready to call for more aid after a final assessment of the extent of damages made, he said. Mr. Holmes said he expected that another appeal would ask for an additional tens of millions of dollars. Threatening Iran with more sanctions would be counterproductive, Russia's foreign minister declared Tuesday, resisting efforts by US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton to win agreement for tougher measures if Iran fails to prove its nuclear program is peaceful. Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov spoke as Mrs. Clinton visited Moscow, her first trip since becoming America's top diplomat, in an effort to gauge Moscow's willingness to join the US in imposing sanctions. Mr. Lavrov said Russia's position is that under current conditions, even the threat of sanctions against Iran would be counterproductive. Mrs. Clinton said the US agreed it was important to pursue diplomacy with Iran. At the same time, we are very vigorously pursuing this track. We are aware that we might not be as successful as we need to be, so we have always looked at the potential of sanctions in the event we are not successful, and cannot assure ourselves and others that Iran has decided not to pursue nuclear weapons, she said at a joint news conference. Iran insists it has the right to a full domestic nuclear enrichment program and maintains it is only for peaceful purposes such as energy production. The Australian Prime Minister, Kevin Rudd, says he contacted Indonesian leaders over the weekend to express concern over the growing number of illegal migrants attempting to reach Australia by sea. Indonesia is a common transit route for people seeking asylum in Australia. Mr. Rudd said he needed Indonesian cooperation to control the increasing numbers of people trying to reach Australia from Afghanistan, Sri Lanka and the Middle East. The Indonesian Navy intercepted a ship carrying 260 Sri Lankans, which was heading for Australia. Doctors in Spain say the former Boyzone band member Stephen Gately died of natural causes. A post-mortem examination found the singer suffered a pulmonary edema and accumulation of fluid on the lungs. The 33-year-old star was found dead at his holiday home in Majorca on Saturday. The latest unemployment figures in the UK are due out and likely to show a rise to above 2.5 million. Last month's figures revealed that unemployment increased by 210,000 in the 3 months to July to reach 2.47 million, edging closer to the 2.5 million mark. The figures will come as youth unemployment is under the spotlight and expected to hit 1 million. A new study has shown the number of 16 to 24-year-olds out of work for longer than 6 months has reached its highest level for 15 years. That's the world this Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.